Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna watch the Napoleonic series. And this is 1812. This is Wellington strikes. It's at Salamanca. I think it's how you pronounce it, right? This has been a great series so far. And yeah, check out the original videos down below. And let's get into this.
Napoleon's French Empire had 250,000 troops stationed in Spain. Wow. Bogged down in a war that seemed to have no end. They faced a bitter struggle against the people of Spain, who'd taken up arms in a guerrilla war, as well as the remnants of Spain's field armies and an Anglo-Portuguese army under Lord Wellington. But French forces in Spain remained formidable and in firm control of the capital, Madrid, and most major cities. And the year began with another great French victory in the south, and a calamity for Spain.
If I had two generals like Suchet to lead my troops in Spain, this war would already be over. Wow, what a statement.
Spain and Portugal would become a graveyard, not just for young French conscripts, but for the reputation of some of France's most famous generals.
Yeah, that makes sense.
General Junot, Marshal Soult,
wow,
and Marshal Jourdan had all tasted defeat. Marshal Massena had been recalled in disgrace.
Yeah.
Marshal Louis Gabriel Suchet was the exception. French generals in Spain were notorious for their looting.
I mean, yeah, Soult was, I don't know if he was the most famous one of them to do that, but like, we saw what he did, right? So, yeah, I mean, it looks like they're all these generals are for the glory for themselves, right? Not for the purpose or the cause that Napoleon wants them to strive for, right? All right.
Soult, based in Andalusia, was probably the worst, reckoned to have stolen 1.5 million francs worth of art from Spanish monasteries and churches.
Wow. Sad.
As governor of Aragon, Marshal Suchet behaved very differently. He enforced strict discipline on his troops, punishing any who tried to steal or extort money from the Spanish, while treating local authorities with respect.
I mean, that's pretty smart, right? If you're gonna be an invading force, a foreign invading force into another country, you want to be strict but fair, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, winning hearts and minds, as it was said in the Middle East.
He combined this hearts and minds strategy with ruthless military action against the guerrillas.
Makes sense.
He was able to establish firm control of Aragon. In June 1811, after a particularly bloody assault, Suchet took the port of Tarragona, for which Napoleon rewarded him with his marshal's baton.
Wow.
The emperor then sent him reinforcements and ordered him to take Valencia. First, he routed a much larger Spanish army that attacked him at Saguntum before he laid siege to Valencia. The city was packed with Spanish troops and refugees, and to avoid starvation, General Blake surrendered Valencia on the 8th of January, 1812.
Wow.
The French took 18,000 prisoners,
Wow.
including 23 generals, and nearly 500 guns. It was a devastating blow to the Spanish cause. But to reinforce Suchet, Napoleon had stripped troops from other armies in Spain, and then withdrawn 25,000 of the best troops for his imminent invasion of Russia. The result was that French forces in Spain were now severely overstretched, just as Wellington prepared to strike.
We have in the service the scum of the earth as common soldiers, enlisted for drink. Nice.
Spanish guerrillas kept Wellington well informed of French movements, and learning that the forces facing him in western Spain had been much weakened, he decided to go on the offensive, to strike a blow before the French could concentrate against him. On the day that Valencia fell, he laid siege to Ciudad Rodrigo on the Portuguese-Spanish frontier. Eager to take the city before Marshal Marmont could march to its relief, he ordered an assault after just 10 days. It succeeded, though Major General Crawford of the Light Division was among 300 killed.
Oh, so he died. Wow. I mean, imagine being there and just, you have to run through there and just attack. That, wow. Amazing. Sad that he died.
Wellington then marched south to besiege the much more strongly defended city of Badajoz.
Wow.
An assault was made on the night of the 6th of April. The first wave attacking the main breach were slaughtered.
Wow.
But what was supposed to be a diversionary attack on the city's castle with scaling ladders succeeded, and the city soon fell. The storming of Badajoz cost the British 3,700 casualties. In the aftermath, survivors went on the rampage, drinking, looting and raping, and killing more than 100 Spanish civilians before British officers finally restored order. Wellington had secured the two main routes between Spain and Portugal. Now he sent his most reliable subordinate, General Hill, with a small Anglo-Portuguese force to destroy the bridge over the Tagus at Almaraz.
Okay.
This was a vital link between Marmont's army of Portugal and Soult's army of the south.
Makes sense.
As the next usable bridge was at Toledo, 90 miles east.
Wow.
The bridge was well guarded by forts and redoubts, but Hill led a swift and daring assault. The French defences were taken by surprise. The bridge itself and all the engineering equipment burned, for the cost of just 177 casualties.
Wow. Cool.
Wellington was now ready to begin his advance into Spain. Spanish regular forces and guerrilla bands began operations to tie down as many French troops as possible.
That makes sense.
While from the Bay of Biscay, Sir Hume Popham's naval raiding force made diversionary attacks on French coastal targets. In 4 days, Wellington was at Salamanca, as Marmont, outnumbered, withdrew behind the Douro River. But when reinforcements arrived, he crossed the river again.
Okay.
For 6 days, Marmont tried to march around Wellington's flank, but the British general matched him move for move, their two armies marching in parallel, often...
Oh my... Whoa, that's... Wow, that's pretty cool. I never seen it depicted like this. I always thought you would march somewhere where your enemy wouldn't see you physically, right? Maybe hear you, but not see you, right? This is so cool. And I see they have like skirmishers in between them, probably firing at them, right? It would be nerve-wracking because you don't know when the enemy is going to turn on you and bring up some cannon and shoot you, right? Wow.
Within sight of each other. But on the 7th day, Marmont blundered.
Okay, means my dear Alava, Marmont is lost. Uh-oh.
On the morning of the 22nd of July, Wellington's army occupied high ground 4 miles south of Salamanca. Marmont was not interested in a direct assault. He still sought to outflank Wellington, threaten his line of retreat to Portugal, and force him to fall back.
I mean, that sounds pretty smart. That sounds or looks doable on this map, right? But I don't know. When you're trying to outflank him, he can just attack you and you're not ready because you're marching. Right? It's a good strategy because Salamanca is up north, where, Wellington can escape, but it will be difficult. So it would make sense that the French will go on his left flank or right flank, right? His escape to Portugal, right? Okay, let's see how this turns out though, because it doesn't sound like it's gonna turn out well, but okay.
Around 8 a.m., the French won a dash for a hill known as the Greater Arapil, which Marmont made his observation point. The French army began to swing round behind him. Marmont had convinced himself that Wellington was an overly cautious general who would not risk attack. The hills hid most of Wellington's army from view. And when Marmont saw dust clouds to the west, he assumed it was Wellington's baggage train leaving Salamanca, beginning their retreat. But it was the British 3rd Division and a Portuguese cavalry brigade moving up to strengthen Wellington's flank.
I mean, information is always key, right? So the French, Marmont thought that that was baggage train for Wellington that's escaping to Portugal or towards Portugal, but it's actually reinforcement for Wellington. That's even worse. Wow, what is Marmont gonna do? Is he gonna hold fast there? Is he gonna do the outflanking? What is he gonna do? Let's see.
Because he wasn't planning a retreat. He was about to attack.
Good to be determined and decisive. There they are, my lads. Just let them feel the temper of your bayonets. Wow.
Around 2 p.m., Marmont ordered the 5 infantry divisions waiting in the woods behind him to march west to cut off Wellington's imagined retreat.
Okay.
General Mokoon's 5th Division, in the lead, stopped to engage what was presumed to be the British rearguard in the village of Los Arapiles. General Thomier's 7th Division continued west past it. Wellington watched as the French left flank became increasingly strung out. And knew it was an opportunity too good to miss. He galloped 3 miles across country to the 3rd Division to give the crucial orders in person.
Wow, that's
pretty cool. Many of his staff officers struggled to keep up. On arrival, he instructed the division's commander, his own brother-in-law, Edward Pakenham, to attack and drive everything before him.
That makes sense. That is taking the enemy by surprise, right? And props to Wellington for going there himself, so he knew that the information, like he wanted to be told, came there, right? Because if he would have told a mailer or whatever on horseback, he could have been captured, he could have been killed, he could have been fell off his horse, like anything could happen. So he went there personally. That's respect. Okay.
3rd Division's advance was hidden by low hills until the last minute.
Wow.
Thomier's division was caught completely unawares and shattered by the assault.
Wow.
Thomier's himself was killed. Half his division killed or captured.
Wow.
The rest soon put to flight. At this crucial moment, Marshal Marmont was hit by a British shell and carried from the field seriously wounded.
That's not good.
His second-in-command, General Bonnet, was himself wounded an hour later. So command passed to General Clausel. 45 minutes later, the British 5th Division attacked, supported by 2 Portuguese brigades and General Le Marchand's dragoons.
I mean, this all looks discombobulated, right? Like, what is their objective? The French, right? What are they doing? Like, the 5th Division is... What are they doing? They're just sitting there shooting at what they think are the rear guard, like, or vanguard. The 8th Division, okay. And then the 3rd Division is coming on the 5th Division's flank. The 6th Division, what are they doing? The 4th, the 2nd, the 3rd. Nothing is happening on the French side. The Brits are taking their opportunity. Okay.
The French saw the cavalry coming and formed square, but were hit first by the British infantry, who unleashed a close-range volley. then charged with the bayonet.
Oh my.
The French were routed and charged down by Le Marchand's cavalry. French 6th Division was caught up in the collapse.
Oh my.
Le Marchand himself was shot from the saddle, but his brigade had helped destroy 8 French battalions and capture 2 Eagles.
Yeah, wow.
Wellington's echelon attack continued as Cole's 4th Division advanced in the centre.
Look at the French right flank. What are they doing? The 3rd, they're just standing there. The 1st, I understand they need to protect there, but like, okay. Okay.
But Pack's Portuguese brigade was thrown back from the Greater Arapil.
Okay.
And the whole division was soon falling back in disorder.
Okay, lucky.
Despite the devastation of his army's left flank, General Clausel decided to launch an attack on the Lesser Arapil.
Really?
The hinge of Wellington's position.
Okay.
If it could be taken, he might still snatch victory from the jaws of defeat.
Yeah, because I mean, you look at Wellington's right flank is engaged with the French left flank. You see Wellington's left flank is standing still, as well as Clausel's right flank. Okay, then attack in the middle. If you have the numbers.
But the French advance was met by fresh troops of Clinton's 6th Division, who poured volleys of musket fire into the French columns.
Wow. Imagine
they
being
began
there.
to fall back.
Yeah.
The French army had lost the will to fight on, its soldiers streaming away into the woods behind them.
Yeah, what happened to the right
General
flank?
Ferré's 3rd Division mounted a brave rearguard action to buy the rest of the army time to escape. But it faced a hopeless task.
Yeah.
It was soon outflanked by the British 5th Division, and Ferré himself was killed.
Respect though.
Only General Foy's 1st Division escaped in good order.
Fair enough, but they didn't do anything.
Falling, and his army exhausted, Wellington called off the pursuit.
That was a pretty good demonstration of Wellington's tactical might, right? It was pretty smart. Some mistakes, but I don't know if it was his mistakes, right? But this looks well. I mean, right? Good for Wellington. A deputation of the courts came to congratulate me upon your victory, hailing you as the savior of Spain. Okay. Wow,
Wellington had smashed Marmont's army, taking 7,000 prisoners and killing or wounding 6,000 more. A French casualty rate of 25%.
Oh my.
And more than double Wellington's own losses.
That's pretty good. Oh my.
The next day, dragoons of the King's German Legion attacked the French rearguard and achieved the almost unheard of feat of charging down a French infantry square.
Wow.
And taking...
Wait, but the German division, or what I said, they're probably from, or were stationed in British held, Hanover, right? So these troops were probably from Hanover, right? That's pretty awesome. And they charged an infantry square with cavalry and broke the infantry square. That sounds like a feat to me, right? Wow.
Taking another 1,000 prisoners.
Wow.
Wellington now decided to march on Madrid, forcing King Joseph to abandon the capital and retreat to Valencia to join up with Marshal Suchet.
Makes sense. Okay.
On the 12th of August, Wellington liberated the city to scenes of wild celebration. Soult, now at risk of being cut off in Andalusia, abandoned the siege of Cadiz, which had dragged on for 2.5 years,
and
marched east to join Joseph and Suchet. The following month, Wellington marched north, pushing the French back from Valladolid and besieging the castle of Burgos.
Okay.
But his army lacked heavy guns, and the French garrison fought bravely. As powerful French armies gathered to the north and south,
Yeah,
Wellington himself was now in danger of being trapped.
Yep.
He had no choice but to withdraw.
Yep. They've taken too much ground, maybe too quickly, right? Wellington, the Spaniards, and the Portuguese, right? Right, because now they have pushed all the French armies together in what will be 3 or 2 different separate armies, right? Which outnumbers Wellington's army and the small corps of Spanish troops and British troops, Portuguese troops as well, right? So let's see what he does.
Wellington's retreat turned into a desperate forced march through autumn rain. The supply system collapsed, and many starving soldiers looted what food they could find from Spanish villages.
Wow.
Madrid was abandoned and reoccupied by the French on the 1st of November. Wellington was back where he'd started 5 months before.
This is a tug of war here in Spain, right? Right. Napoleon came in first, then the Brits and Spaniards pushed him out when he wasn't there. And then Napoleon came back, I think, right? And pushed them back. And now they've come again. Wellington attacked at Salamanca, pushed them all the way to Burgos and to where Suchet is, right? And now the French are pulling west again.
But despite the campaign's dismal conclusion, his strike into Spain had led to the liberation of huge swathes of the country and left the French more overstretched than ever.
Right? Now it's the reverse. Now the French are overstretched, and before the Brits were overstretched, right? It's a definite tug of war.
Reinforced and resupplied, Wellington would be back the next year to deliver the final blow to Joseph's Spanish kingdom.
Okay.
1812 had seen the tide of war turn, and not just in Spain. Because 2,000 miles to the east, in Russia, catastrophe had engulfed la Grande Armée.
Wow. That was pretty awesome, right? It was definite tug of war. And I mean, it alluded to the next episode, right? We have alluded in like 3 episodes now, Napoleon in Russia. Right? So I'm excited to see the next video of this, right? This has been a great series so far, right? Alright, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.